welcome to this week's video. So this week, as you can see, is not a particularly nice sunny day, but what we're going to do, hopefully, is going to be a nice sunny experience. So basically, I offer wine tours in and around this area, typically around Chateau-Myon, but also Sancerre, Quincy and Reuilly, which are all AOCs in the area in the Loire Valley. Today I've got two new vineyards that I'd like to add to my tours. I've never been there before, so I'm going to go there, taste some wine, have a look at their vines, get an idea of them as a vineyard, and then decide whether I will add them onto my tours. So this morning I'm going to go to Reuilly and go to one vineyard there and then have some lunch, and then go to Quincy in the afternoon and hopefully try some wines at the same time. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's a shame that the weather isn't a little bit better, but it's not going to dampen my spirits, and I'm going to enjoy it and taste some good wine. So let's get going. So here I am at Reuilly, and I'm in the centre of Reuilly, and I'm going to hopefully go and taste some wine and see some vines. So let's get going. As you can see, the vines are here, and they've all been pruned and ready to start growing, and they've just started to get some little buds. So here in Reuilly, they have three wines. They have the white wine, which is Sauvignon Blanc. They have red wine, which is Pinot Noir, and they have rosé, which is Pinot Gris typically, but you can also have Pinot Noir and Pinot Gris, or just Pinot Noir in your rosé. But those are the three grapes that they grow here, and as you can see, very straight lines, very well kept, and they make very gorgeous fruity wines. The white wine is quite acidic, great with food, but really fruity and aromatic. The Pinot Noir, the red wine, is very fruity again, quite young, quite light, but again, typical Pinot Noir. Very, very good. So here I am at Domaine Artois. We are just about to go in and have a look at their vineyard and where they produce their wine and everything else. So let's get going. So here I am in the cave, and as you can see behind me, we've got some pressoirs. There's an old one and a new one. So we've just been explaining on which one's better than the other. So the end one there has a screw, and it screws and pushes the wine. And what happens is it means it has to do that 2 or 3 times in order to squeeze all the juices out. Whereas the more modern one has like a balloon that squeezes all of the grapes against the side of the container, and then that squeezes out the juices. And then if we spin around here, you can see all of the large vats here that store the wine. And as you can see here, unfortunately, they're empty at the moment. And that's because they've gone from these vats to the other vats that are around the corner here. So here I am in the other part of the cave, and there's lots of different containers, vats here, and behind me you can see the fiberglass vats. Now, stainless steel vats are fantastic at not letting any oxygen through. The fiberglass ones, they do let a tiny little bit of oxygen through, which is fine, that's not a problem. But then we've also got things like these concrete egg-shaped vats. Now, these are very modern, and these let a little bit more oxygen in. And in fact, they do a similar job to the oak barrels. Now, the advantage of these is, while the wine, especially red wine, while they're being stored in these vats, it's letting a little bit of oxygen through, intensifying the flavour and letting the wine develop. But the advantage of these as well is that they don't impart any flavours, so you get the full benefit of the wine. Whereas with the oak barrels, obviously the tannins from the oak transfer into the wine and then can change the flavour of the wine. Now, sometimes that's what you want, and that's absolutely fine. But the advantage of these, that doesn't happen in these concrete barrels. So it allows the oxygen through, but doesn't impart any additional flavours. So that's why these are kind of like more of the modern type of oak barrels. As you can see behind me, at the moment, they are at the stage of bottling or processing their rosé wine. So they've got rosé wine in one of these vats, they're pumping it around filtering it and then pumping it to the other vat. And then once they've done that and they've filtered it, they will then bottle it. So if I kind of walk over here, you can see some of the bottled wines behind me. But if I spin around here, you can see the bottler here. So this is where they put the wine into the bottles, and then they can label it and everything here as well. So it's a fantastic setup here. I'm really happy with it. One of the advantages for me is it's got the full process. You can see where the wine comes in, where the wine's stored, how the wine's then processed and bottled and everything else. Next thing is I've got to go and try the wine. Let's go and give it a go. So I'm here tasting the wine. We've got a fantastic selection here. We've got a rosé. It's a rosé gris, and as you can see here, it's very, very light in colour. And then we've got this white wine, which is Sauvignon Blanc. Again, very typical of the area, 100% Sauvignon Blanc. And then we've also got a red, which is a Pinot Noir, which is what I'm tasting here now. Very light, very fruity. So I'll probably try this, get some wine, maybe enjoy a bottle later on tonight. But it's really, really nice. I would definitely recommend coming here and trying some of this. So as you can see, this domain is 6th generation, going back to Sylvain in the late 18th century. And we've got all 6 generations here, loads of bottles here in a nice display. I love to see a good bottle of wine displayed like that. So I'm just here with a little map of the area, and as you can see, we've got Reuilly here and Quincy just to the east of Reuilly. And you've got the main Cher River running down here, and as you can see, Quincy is predominantly based kind of right next to the Cher. It's kind of in the valley basin of the Cher, and Reuilly is kind of more on the hills a bit further up. So they have very different types of wine and very different types of soil. This is one of the things I love about France, is you're just walking along the side of the road, and here you have an old press. I would love to have one of these in my garden, maybe to use or just as display. I think they're amazing and they look great. So I'm in Quincy and it's just as windy here as it was in Reuilly. Quincy just does white wine, so Quincy is purely Sauvignon Blanc. They can make a red wine, they can do a rosé as well, but if they do that, they can't call it Quincy. So if it's a Quincy wine, it's purely white wine and it's purely Sauvignon Blanc. So again, we've got some vines here that have all been pruned really well, and just beside me here we've got a very small vine that obviously has been planted this year or maybe last year, and you can see on it where it's been grafted onto a different vine stock. So that will then take 3 years before it's ready to actually start to grow grapes that can be used for wine. So there we are, guys. We've tasted lots of wine. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself here in Quincy and Reuilly. I'm looking forward to coming back here. I've got a couple of bottles of wine so that we can enjoy them over the coming weeks. Hope you enjoyed this week's video. Please don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you get notified of future videos. And I'll see you next time. Cheers, guys. Bye.